Choosing college classes are a challenge that most students are familiar with, but when it comes to choosing a professor for these classes, it can be a bit tricky. Students are using a review site called Rate My Professor to ensure a smooth educational experience. Users who have taken a professor's course can post a rating and a review of any professor that is already listed on the site on a 1 to 5 scale in 2 main categories: overall quality and level of difficulty. Additionally, raters can share if they recommend this professor, if attendance was mandatory, how often the textbook is used, and even a comment with up to 350 characters. But is this information accurate for users?
For some of them. I took an English class with one, and he was the worst professor I've ever had. So I was real upset because someone was like, "He's so great," and I was like, "Great." So I changed my English professor to him, and then I really didn't like that professor.
Most of my comments are positive, so I would say sure, they're accurate. I think it's really good for students to have some way to tell each other what to expect about professors. I do think a lot of the way classes are run is very personality driven, or professors have a lot of different expectations or styles, and hopefully we are doing a good job of communicating that to students in the syllabus or in other ways. But that's still different from what students tell each other, and I think in a lot of ways that information has always been passed on word of mouth or within student groups, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for students to be able to share that more widely with people who might not be part of those informal social networks.
Holding instructors to higher standards is important, and student feedback is relevant. But if academic institutions don't take the right steps to assess teaching in a more holistic way, they may risk losing talented faculty members to accusations that may not be true. According to research conducted by multiple universities across the U.S., there were 3 main consistencies seen as to why Rate My Professor is not reliable. The rate at which students were filling out evaluations has gone down drastically in the electronic age. The tone of comments has started to resemble that of an internet message board with more abuse and bullying. Students who are aware of some or all of their grades tended to be harder on faculty members in both written comments and numerical assessments.
I think in some ways the format of Rate My Professor leans on things that are not always beneficial. They have the attractiveness indicator and stuff, things that really students shouldn't be encouraged to think about when they're choosing classes or professors.
I would recommend people just be cautious, because sometimes it's not 100% accurate for the professor.
In order to effectively evaluate professors, the system needs to be significantly rethought and reformed. This will take a considerable amount of time and effort, but the results will be worth the time spent. Until this sacrifice is made, be cautious when taking information from Rate My Professor or any other student feedback sites. This is Promise Calloway, Murrow News 8.